Hello. Today we visit r/AskReddit to ask night owls, what is the creepiest thing that has happened to you when everyone else was sleeping? Make sure to comment anything strange that has happened to you. With that, sit back and enjoy. As many of us were back then, I was gaming. The first Modern Warfare 2 had dropped recently and I had an entire wrestling team of friends with Xboxes. Great fun. 1 a.m. rolls around, the summer night air wafting in through both open windows. In between bites of pizza rolls and, our UAV is online. I swear I hear someone say, "Help me." Freaks you out a bit if you're completely unsure, and that particular phrase isn't uttered often. I pause and listen, taking off one side of my turtle beaches. A good half a minute passes. Nothing. I tell my friends about it. They roast me, telling me I'm imagining it. I shrug it off. Again, I swear I think I heard someone distinctly say, "Help me." I fully take off my headset and wait. Sooner this time, and sure enough, there it is, a third time, and I hear it clear, a voice I do not recognize. "Can someone help me?" Bone-chilling desperation in their voice. The bottom level of the house which I'm playing in is below grade, with the windows maybe a foot above the soil outside. Below the deck. I am 3 feet from that window, feeling my teenage soul leave my body in fear. I run upstairs in a panic and inform my parents. Dressed in bedwear and armed with an airsoft gun, we investigate. An elderly woman with dementia got lost a few hours before and had wandered into our backyard, fell, and became delirious. We called the police and she was taken to the hospital, confused but unharmed. Glad to have helped her that day. Also glad to prove my entire team wrong. Felt nice. Thank goodness you heard her. Dude, I had my window cracked while sleeping in Santa Barbara, California one night. It was around 3 a.m. and in my dream I could hear a woman screaming at the top of her lungs, a blood-curdling, "Help me." I woke up and could still hear it and took a few seconds to realize I wasn't still dreaming. By the time I jump up and throw some clothes on to go outside, I hear my neighbor, who was a very large dude, come running down the stairs of the apartment complex, followed by the obvious cocking of a shotgun. He just yells, "Get the duck off her," a couple times and then goes silent. Some young woman was being attacked in the middle of the street. I female used to clean movie theaters. Our shifts would start at 2 a.m. On a slow weekday night, I decided to go out and pick up the trash in the parking lot, around 4 to 5 a.m. The theater was also next to a super busy road, so people passing by could see into the parking lot clear as day. I had headphones in and a grabby thing in my hand to pick up gross stuff, when I suddenly get a call from my boss, who is inside the building. She tells me she just saw a truck pull into the parking lot, on the opposite side where I was, and we weren't expecting any vendors today. As she says this, the truck pulls up next to me and stops as a man starts to open his door. There was a clear moment when he started to lean out and then saw that I was on a phone call. I had my screen facing him because I was talking to my boss through the headphones, and the grabby thing over my shoulder like a baseball bat. He sees my hands, then looks up at me and says, "Looks like it might snow today." Then closes his door and drives off. I'm 100% sure if my boss didn't call me, that man would have tried to grab me into his truck. I then warned everyone that no one should do the parking lot garbage until it's light out and to always be on alert. Someone tried to open the front door of the house that I am staying at. It was around 2 to 3 a.m. and sometimes people in the house forget to lock. Safe to say, I could not sleep the whole night. Something similar, my parents were gone. We lived near railroad tracks. For some reason I went to the kitchen, noticed the back door unlocked, locked it. A few minutes, saw the doorknob slowly twisting. I hollered, "Hey Dad, where's my drink I put in the fridge?" If my former roommate were in a horror film, she'd be the first to die. One day we were watching TV in the living room and there was a bang in the hallway that sounded like a gunshot. I hit the floor, but she ran to the door and opened it and stuck her head out. Fortunately, it turned out to be someone dropping a heavy object, but good grief, I gave my roomie a lecture on safely assessing your surroundings. I drifted off a bit on the couch in the den with my head on the couch armrest. I woke up when I felt the tiniest little paw tentatively reaching out and putting weight on my head. For some reason I didn't jerk away. Then a second paw started reaching into my hair. I slowly sat up to look at what was going on. A large brown rat had found its way into the house, up the couch, and was gently climbing onto my head. I coaxed him down to the couch and he didn't run away. I just have a rat calmly looking at me from the armrest of the couch. Eventually I got him into a box and released him into a field. Weird way to get a little friend at 2 a.m. It was trying to control your body by tugging at your hair to fulfill its culinary dreams. I love Rakakuni. My partner works overnight, so I'm up during the night often. My experiences include a group of teenage girls just sitting in our backyard and watching a toddler play in the street alone around 3 a.m. I called the police. The toddler was safely taken home. My creepier experiences actually occurred more around 5-6 a.m., with the sun up, when you'd think people would be a little less willing to be creepy. Once around 5:30 I felt watched, glanced up and saw a man peeking through the gap in our blinds. He bolted away. Another time my partner told me he'd be home in under 5 minutes, so I unlocked our front door. A man was in the process of crossing the street, looked up and grinned at me like I had opened up just for him. He made a beeline for our house and I slammed and locked the door so fast. Definitely a different man than Blind Peeker. Also forgot once around 3 a.m. our power went out for like 20 seconds and the sky lit up bright as day and flashed all the colors of the rainbow. I thought I had to have imagined that, but I heard someone down the street scream, "What the duck?" I assume a transformer blew somewhere or something. I can't figure any other explanation. Hi Neon Chipmunk, I'm Neon Pink Funk. I was sitting up playing Xbox at like 3 a.m. and some guy kicked in my front door. As I'm windmilling falling backwards out of my chair, I sit in a computer chair while I game. I see my 100 pounds black lab fly through the house, jump and knock this guy back through the doorway. My dog was straight eating this guy, the intruder. He's screaming like he's being fed feet first into a wood chipper. I finally run to the door and see this guy sprinting down the street and my dog hot on his heels. I call the cops and they show up. I give them the report and about 20 minutes into it my dog comes sauntering up like he's the best thing since individually wrapped cheese slices. The cops were like, "Is he friendly?" To which I remember saying something to the affect of, "I thought he was." My dog is the biggest ham of a lab, all cuddles and kisses. Until you kick in my door at 3 a.m. Good boy. I'll keep it short and creepy. I was 11 or 12 at the time in my room alone at night, don't remember what I was doing. The window was open behind the blinds. I heard two men's voices right outside and one says, "Not now, she's still awake." Who were the people? Why were they waiting for you to fall asleep? Did you call the cops? Did you lock and load or go home alone on them? No idea. I didn't go outside and say hi. I have no idea why they were waiting for an 11-year-old girl to fall asleep. I don't know why I did or didn't do a lot of things, as this was 20-ish years ago. I may have forgotten small details like the crop circles, swamp gas, and Bigfoot, sorry. The short version stuck with me through the years and I've kinda told everyone. The only person I have never told is my mom, who still lives in the same house. I don't want to give her the heebie-jeebies by spilling the beans 2 decades later. I need a follow-up on this. I never found out who they were because I didn't go outside to say hi, unfortunately. I've posted this before, but it's one of my favorite stories. When I was a new mom, shortly after my grandmother had died, we visited her rural lake cottage several states away. It was a small 2-story structure, with the bedrooms being situated on the 2nd floor. My son was only about 4 to 6 weeks old, so I was worried that he would keep my other family members awake at night with needing to be fed, being new to the world, etc. Well, the inevitable happened, and my son would not stop fussing in the middle of the night. I decided to go outside with my lil guy to get a bit of fresh air. The cottage had burned down to the chimney a couple of years earlier, and the house had been rebuilt, so I wasn't familiar with its new tits and bits. I went outside and apparently the door was unlocked from the inside, but the outside lock was engaged. Now here I am, in the middle of pretty much nowhere, locked out of the house at 3 a.m. with a newborn. I knocked on, and tried the door again and could not get it to open. I even threw pebbles, and then rocks at my husband's window, to no avail. As I sat outside the door, my back leaning against it, about to lose it completely, I heard a click. The door was unlocked. The door that I had tried dozens and dozens of times to open simply unlocked. Everyone was still soundly asleep and didn't recall hearing any noises at all in the morning. The door had a window, and I could see the entirety of the bottom floor through it. No one was there. But it unlocked for me. I looked out my window and a man was looking through it at the same time. Sorry bro, I was a lil curious. You scared the shit out of me, dude, not cool. That's a reoccurring fear of mine. I read a short story years ago where a woman bought a jigsaw puzzle at a thrift store, and as she assembled it at her kitchen table came to realize it was depicting her in her kitchen, with one difference: a face at the window. When she finished it, she looked over, and been afraid of it ever since. You ever hear two foxes mating? That shit, I swear, is what started the idea of banshees. Yeah, they're screaming all over London. Thought someone was getting murdered at first. OMG this. I had no idea what sound foxes make even regularly. Was up past the family's bedtime when suddenly there was this intermittent shrieking right outside my bedroom window. Literally right outside it, as apparently the fox had made a bit of a den in this overgrown bush just below it. Sounded like an old lady having a mental crisis and shrieking at my window. Managed not to die of fright and kept my head enough to Google different animal mating calls until I figured out it was a fox in heat. Also solved the mystery of why we'd been finding crow and squirrel bones in the yard lately. Up till that point we had no idea a fox had taken up residence with us and figured we'd just pissed off some passive-aggressive hedge witch. Edit, they're not common in my area. Lived 30 years on this planet without ever seeing one outside of a Disney movie or the internet. I was up late in the living room of my parents' house writing a paper for school. My boyfriend at the time was living with us in a room off the living room and down at the end of a hallway. Closest to the door into the living room from said hallway was a bathroom and another bedroom. So I'm writing this paper and I look away from it a bit to take a mental break. It's like 2 a.m. at this point, I think. Some motion catches my eye, so I glance up at the door leading into the hallway, and I see a face peeking partially through the doorway from the hall, and then the person runs fast and jumps behind the love seat next to me. So I'm thinking, oh, that's my boyfriend trying to scare me because he knows I'm up late and distracted. I get up and peek behind the love seat saying, haha, really funny, but I saw you. Nobody was there. So I stand there puzzled a minute like, where could he have gone without me seeing? And then I hear his bedroom door open and he goes walking half asleep down the hall and into the bathroom. Still don't know what was up with that. Lol, gave me the creeps though. I was up late, screwing around on the internet as usual. Everyone else was in bed. And something was clattering out on the deck. I ignored the noise at the first. I figured it was just the wind rattling the trash can lid I'd hung on the bird feeder to inconvenience the squirrels. But the racket kept going, and my mind started to wander. Might be a raccoon, I thought. Maybe it crawled into the barbecue looking for food scraps. Maybe there are two of them in there, trying to make more raccoons. The noise continued. I stood up, walked over to the sliding door, and turned on the outside lights. They were the CFL bulbs that take about a week to warm up, so I couldn't see much, and what I could see looked normal. Whatever was making the noise kept doing whatever it was doing. By this point, I was getting nervous. I was annoyed that I was nervous, and I was annoyed that some pissant trash panda was making me nervous. So I opened the door, stuck my head outside, and asked, "Can I help you?" A bear stared back from 10, maybe 20 feet away. It was standing on its back legs, making it about as tall as I was. Its front paws gripped the bird feeder, which, despite the bear's best efforts, remained connected to the house. I stood there for a few seconds until my brain's pattern recognition software decided that, yup, that's a bear all right, and then I ducked back inside. When I looked back, the bear was gone, leaving behind a damaged bird feeder with a smashed trash can lid on top. We don't hang bird feeders anymore. With that, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching all the way until the end, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment anything strange that has happened to you. Until next time.